Mark, thank you. As we welcome everyone to the U.S. Airways Center in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the home of the Suns and Steve Nash. Phoenix off to another terrific start this season. And tonight they're hosting the injury-riddled Miami Heat. Hi, everyone. With Hall of Famer Hubie Brown, Mike Breen on hand. Lisa Saltos will join us in a couple of minutes. Nash and the Suns have been fun to watch again. Hubie, hard to believe he's having a better year this year than his MVP season.
Well, when you look at the total stats, it's staggering. He's increased his scoring every year over the last 3 years here in Phoenix. He also has right there with the assists once again at over 11 a game. But the key stat, he shoots 53%, Mike, 51% in threes, 89% on the foul line, and then he distributes the ball. He makes every player better that plays on this roster.
Meanwhile, for Miami, it's been Murphy's Law for the defending champs with the injuries. All this has been difficult for him. No Wade, no Shaquille O'Neal, so a different starting lineup for the Miami Heat with Ron Rothstein as the head coach taking over for Pat Riley in his leave of absence for the Heat. In the front court, of course, now Alonzo Mourning starting with Udonis Haslem and Jason Kapono, who's been shooting the ball very well. And the new backcourt, at least the starters, Jason Williams and Gary Payton starting together. Meanwhile, for the Suns, they're 22-3 in their last 25 games. Stoudemire has been just superb over the last 25 games. And the backcourt, Steve Nash and Leandro Barbosa, who is starting in place of Raja Bell, who's suspended. Let's send it over to Lisa Salters.
Thanks, Mike. Well, Dwayne Wade is in street clothes tonight, missing his fourth consecutive game because of that right wrist injury. I talked to him at shoot-around this morning. He didn't work out with the team. Says he plans to work out tomorrow. He says for the most part, the pain in the wrist is gone. It's just now a matter of regaining the strength. He says that right wrist is very weak. He says he definitely plans to play sometime during this road trip on the West Coast. And, Mike, we know that for the Miami Heat, Dwayne Wade cannot get back in the court soon enough.
That's for sure, Lisa. And Miami Heat can't wait to have him back. He's missed a total of 5 games this year. They're 0-5. It's hard enough without Shaquille O'Neal, but then without Wade as well. As we're set to go here in Phoenix, this is one of those David versus Goliath scenarios starting the game, Hubie.
You're Miami. What you must do in order to win this game, play a perfect game. Shorten every possession, run the shot clock, and then you must shoot a high percentage. Right now they're coming out and they're playing a 2-3 zone, hoping to keep Phoenix out on the perimeter.
Nash won't go. Stoudemire the rebound. Stoudemire has been such a force lately. Not that time. Gets it back again. Blocked by Mourning, but a foul. And Amari Stoudemire will shoot a couple. Mourning third in the NBA in blocks. And that's Ron Rothstein, the interim coach. He has been around the NBA a long, long time. 27 years. Was the head coach of Miami when they first took him to the NBA, the expansion franchise, for 3 years. Was a head coach in Detroit for 1 year in the early 90s. You've known him a long time. In fact, you gave him his first break to get into the NBA. He's a good basketball man.
Absolutely. He's been with us in Atlanta and New York, and then with Mike Fratello in Atlanta, then also with Chuck Daly and Rick Carlisle. He's been with people who have been in the playoffs. He's been around. He's been a head coach of Detroit, and like you said, Mike, and also the expansion Miami Heat. So he has to have this ball club without 4 of your top 7 guys play a perfect basketball game. And by that we mean run the clock, shoot the high percentage, and get back in transition defense.
Well, not a bad way to start for Jason Williams. Got fouled, put in a shot. I was watching Rothstein as the Heat were racing up the court with their first possession, and he was saying, whoa, whoa. And that's what he knows they have to do. They have to control the tempo. And Jason Williams, who's also been hurt quite a bit, missed 12 games after coming back from knee surgery. He converts a three-point play. Stoudemire against Mourning. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. And Haslem the rebound.
Well, Mourning will get away with a lot of body contact. And this is a night that Stoudemire, he's right 3rd in the league in field goal percentage at 61%. But he'll be tested tonight because they'll allow Alonzo Mourning to have body contact going for the shot clock.
Meanwhile, that first foul on Phoenix was against Nash as Jason Williams knocks down another. He's 2 for 2.
Well, they have guys out here who can put the ball in the basket. The big thing is can you hold Phoenix from getting up over 105, 110 points?
Nash gets in and draws the foul. Gary Payton getting the start because Ronnie Rothstein said he wanted to have a veteran containing Steve Nash as the foul is on Jason Williams, his first. Phoenix, this begins a 5-game homestand for them, whereas for Miami, it starts a 6-game Western swing. Talk about bad timing for Ron Rothstein to take over.
Yeah, it's difficult, mainly because Wade and Shaq are not in there. And this is where they're tough. So you've got to try to cut down the threes. They make 9 a game. They attempt 24. They're first in both categories.
Nash is second in the NBA in three-point shooting. The leader is Jason Kapono of the Heat. So we have the current top three-point shooters in the game. Nash at 51% from downtown. Mourning just kind of flips it up at the basket and gets the bounce.
Now they're off to a nice start. Now we know that you're not going to shoot perfect the entire game. The big thing for them is to hang in there, because when Phoenix is on fire, they get 35 to 40 points in the first quarter. That's where they set the tone. They set the tone of the game.
Boris Diaw wide open inside, passes it up to Marion. Mourning got a piece of it, it still went in.
Yeah, Mike D'Antoni was up. He wanted a goaltend on that, and he definitely got it on the way down. But remember now, Mourning is the 3rd leading shot blocker in this league. He goes for every block.
Miami, of course, not only without Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal after he had the knee surgery, as Mourning puts it in. Stoudemire got a piece of that. They're also without Antoine Walker and James Posey. That's one of the big stories this week. They did not meet conditioning requirements, and they're going to be inactive as we have a defensive 3 seconds call until they get down to the required weight and body fat that Pat Riley has as a rule and has always had. There you see the 2 stars, of course, with the injuries, and then Walker and Posey are back home trying to get themselves to the proper numbers.
Between Pat Riley and his workout staff, they put on a body fat percentage on every player. Walker's is 10%. He's at 11 right now. He's 1% over. Posey's is at 8. He's 1% over. Now, they need these 2 guys because you say, yeah, Wade and Shaq are out, but you cannot have 4 of your top 7 guys in the rotation because it's unsettling to the rest of the players.
But pretty unusual. I don't think I've ever heard of that during the course of a season.
Well, but Pat Riley has had that ever since he's been coaching at Miami, and it's a team thing. Whether people like it or not, the players on the team know. By the way, Jason is playing horse right now, and somebody better get out here and start guarding him.
Williams 3 for 3 to start. Nash, pretty move, can't finish, and Haslam the rebound. Now, in these type of situations, often you see a team like the Heat without 4 of their top 7 guys. You can play loosey-goosey, and there's not a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, coaches sometimes hate being in Phoenix's position of being the heavy favorite, right?
That's a very good point. Very good point. And that young man, Jason Kapono, is playing great basketball now that he's had his opportunity. He's been in the league 3 years, but this is the year that he's blossomed.
Stoudemire inside, and a foul on Mourning. So Stoudemire will shoot 2 as the Heat off to a 6 for 6 start from the field, and we go to Lisa.
Well, Mike, I asked a couple of players how they felt about having Antoine Walker and James Posey back in Miami because of that body fat rule, and for the most part, they say it is what it is. Dwayne Wade told me this morning it's no surprise, no shock to anyone. We all knew what our numbers were and where we had to be. Those guys didn't make it, and we knew they were going to be left behind. But what they all agree on as well is that the timing is awful. Mike?
Especially to start this trip, especially with Riley getting his knee surgery today. He's going to be out an indefinite time. He said that it's not a disciplinary action, it's more of an enforcement of a rule. But if they're not to their spot by January 15th, then they would be suspended.
Yes, that's a very big point right there.
Kapono leans in and out, and Sean Marion the rebound. So the Heat off to a good start.
Yeah, Mike, transition defense for Miami. They just can't play a quarter or a half. You got to go 48 minutes in this building.
Nash, again, Steve Nash, his second three-pointer. And it's a 3-point game.
Phoenix very comfortable in this building. They do such an outstanding job at shooting the ball. They're 12-3 at home. We know that they score 110 points a game. They're the #1 shooting team in the league. Percentage as well as 3-point shooting as well as foul shooting.
Foul on the pass. It goes against Boris Diaw, so that will be Diaw's first. And Jason Williams has his hops going early, Ubi, and he's made a big difference. Him being injured was a very important part of their early season struggles. He's starting to get better after that right knee surgery in the offseason.
Well, Jason missed 12 games. Right now, his shooting from the field is down. Now, you wouldn't know it by tonight because he's 3 for 3. His foul shooting is good, and his three-point shooting is about average for him.
Haslam can't get it to fall. Of course, they're back using the leather ball. Players getting used to their old favorite once again is Nash, short that time. And the Heat will walk it up.
Very important that you maximize the 24-second clock. You shoot a high percentage. When you do shoot and miss, you only can have Mourning on the offensive board. The other 4 guys have got to get back in transition defense.
Mourning been playing the big minutes. Lost it that time.
He's a little exhausted. You can see it. He's walking very slowly up the court.
And Diaw puts it in. He didn't even make it up to half court.
Yeah.
Just stopped walking.
Well, you know, Mike, he's been getting 26 minutes a game here, and he's been playing great. He's getting 11 points a game, 9 rebounds, 3 shot blocks. But let's face it, we know that the man is not 100% healthy.
He looked over at the Heat bench, and Michael Doliak now getting up. I hope everything's okay. The shot clock winds down. Mourning and throws it out of bounds. Of course, Mourning has been, after the kidney transplant, is constantly monitored, still takes a number of pills daily. But he says he's been feeling great, but apparently a little winded early here to start.
Now they'll maximize. Right now, Miami's in the zone. This is smart with Doliak, and when they go to their second unit to play as much zone as possible. But you must cut down the three-point scores.
Barbosa hits a three. Leandro Barbosa, who's battling the flu, knocks down his first shot. It's a 9-0 Phoenix run.
Now, when you say Bell, Barbosa, and Nash, Marion, they all attempt between 4 and 6 threes a night. And then the team shoots 39%. That's why you've got to cut them down. They get that extra point.
Payton across the lane, sweeping shot won't go. And Sean Marion, another rebound, his third.
They need Gary Payton to get some points here tonight. Not only play good defense, but he's got to score some points.
Nice pass, Stoudemire to Diaw. Amar'e Stoudemire, he has turned it around, Ubi. Early in the season, there was concerns in training camp, but he is playing like the Amar'e Stoudemire of old.
Yes, he's got the hop. He's shooting a high percentage, over 61%. And the other thing is he's blocking shots and rebounding the ball in the last 20 games. Now, Jason is having a great half right now. And you can see he knocks that one down easy, gives himself a nice long 3. And then the Suns are never out of it in this building on 11-0 runs.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise.
Back at Phoenix, where the Suns on an 11-0 run. They lead by 4. We mentioned, of course, the Heat shorthanded with missing all their key players. Well, Phoenix without Raja Bell, one of their starters. This was Wednesday night in Toronto against the Raptors. Andrea Bargnani. And you see Bell, after falling down, drawing the charge. That's the second kick. That's what got him suspended. Mike D'Antoni said he talked to Bell. Bell said, hey, wait a minute. It was my momentum carrying me back. I really didn't try and kick him, but it certainly looked it there.
Now, when you look at it from that angle, definitely the second kick is what got him. There's no doubt about that. And even though you're saying there was no contact, that's debatable also when you see that replay.
Bell got the word early this afternoon that he'd be suspended to 1 game. Bell is having such a great season as Payton's shot won't go. Nash the rebound. Raja Bell, a big part of this team at both ends of the floor. As Nash knocks down the shot. Nash with 9 quick points.
Oh, he's in such an easy flow right now. You know, he's made 2 threes. He's now 3 for 6 from the floor, but he's moving easily. Their big plus is that Boris Diaw gets you 5 to 6 assists a game. He already has 3 in this game.
13-0 run. Haslam left open, and Haslam can't get a shot to fall.
Keep getting good looks, though, Mike. They're getting good looks at the basket. Oh, you got to go in. Jason Williams is on Stoudemire. Come on, you got to get the angle.
Williams playing down low, knocks it away. Good defensive play from Williams. Still Phoenix ball with 10 on the shot clock. Marcus Banks has checked in. Banks signing a free agent deal in the offseason. He's getting the minutes that Raja Bell suspension is warning him, getting out on the floor. Marion.
Sean did not get a good catch there. He fumbled the ball, but he was already elevated. So consequently, when that shot went up, I didn't think he had a prayer.
Capono, he has been shooting the basketball so well. In fact, he was concerned when they went back to leather. He said, I'm doing so well with this new ball. Williams from way downtown. Doliak tips it, but Nash comes away.
One of the stats that does not get a lot of publicity here with Phoenix is that they are an excellent defensive rebounding team.
They have improved themselves defensively. Nice pass to finish. Stoudemire with his second pretty assist.
Well, right there, you can see that Miami defensively, Mike, they were confused. Whether they were playing zone or whether they were playing matchup, it was evident that once the cutter, Nash, went through, no one picked him up.
Now a 15-0 run. Capono. Nice. Offensive foul.
That's right. He's got to keep doing that. You just cannot. You're not going to beat Phoenix in Phoenix staying on the outside, taking all jump shots. You've got to get into the painted area, whether you post up or whether you go by the dribble. Mainly at this end, Phoenix is getting down inside that paint.
The big guy with some pretty assists and a 15-0 run for the Suns. ESPN's NBA Friday broadcast in high definition and presented by Olivia. Here in Phoenix, the Suns on a 15-0 run. Everyone around the country loves to watch this team, but Steve Nash says their goal is not to be the most entertaining team in the league.
You know, it's flattering and exciting that people enjoy what we do here, but you know, we want to win it, and we don't want to just be fun to watch, and we don't want to just be a group of guys that likes to hug each other. You know, we want to win this thing, and that's what this season, I think, is all about for us, is a narrowing focus.
And you can tell by Nash, he's more animated this year, more of a vocal leader he's always been. They feel they've got a real chance, Hubie, of winning the championship.
Well, I thought he made a good point with us today, Mike. This is the best talent that they've had since he's been here. They're bigger, they're longer, they're stronger, and then they shoot the three at a high percentage.
You look at last 2 years, making it to the conference final, losing last year to the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games, the year before 5 games to the Spurs, but they're a different team, and Stoudemire makes them a different team with him being healthy again.
Well, anytime that you have 5 guys scoring between 15 and 20 points, Mike, that's unheard of in this league. And then the 5 guys, no one takes more than 15 shots. Everyone takes between 11 and 15 shots. That's the unselfishness.
Meanwhile, the 15-0 run comes to an end. First points in almost 6 minutes for Miami. And because they go off to a good start, they're only down 6. Stoudemire against Haslem. Good defense from Haslem.
Only push it if you have a 2-on-1 or a 1-on-0. Just maximize the goal. You get a field goal right here, you'd only be down 4 points.
Williams has been off to a good start. Haslem, nice pass. Doliak, and Doliak fouled. A couple of former New York Knicks underneath there as Doliak will get a chance for a 3-point play.
Now that was an excellent pass by Haslem because he could have forced the shot in that situation, Mike. Now watch out as Doliak comes right down the middle. See, Haslem could have forced the jump shot right there, but you love the unselfishness. He hit Doliak on the roll perfectly.
And Mourning pumped up, and he'll come back in. Haslem already with 4 assists, which ties his season high. And we're in the first quarter. Doliak, meanwhile, a good solid veteran to come off the bench. His 9th year in the league and his 3rd with Miami. Whatever role he's played, sometimes he's the backup center, sometimes he's been the 3rd string center.
Yeah, but he's a cerebral player. Every place that he's been, you can count on him. He's not going to mess up. He's going to do his job and play it perfectly, whether to run the offense correctly or play solid defense.
Defensive 3 seconds called, so a technical foul. 1 shot as Marion will go. Doliak does his job, sits down as Mourning comes back in. And Marion hits the technical free throw. Chris Quinn is also in for the Miami Heat. One of the youngsters playing, the rookie from Notre Dame, who looks about 11 years old.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
He's aggressive. He's got some toughness to him. They like what Quinn has brought in his spot duty. Shot clock at 2. Banks has to put it up. And He puts it in. Tough shot from Banks.
Now, Banks is a low field goal percentage shooter. He's in the low 30s. He's in the low 20s in three-point shooting.
Barbosa with the steal. Leandro Barbosa puts the Heat.
Yeah, you can't have the turnovers that give this team an opportunity to get out on a 1-on-0 or a 2-on-1. Phoenix, they are outstanding in finishing at the other end of the floor.
Meanwhile, not a smart foul from Banks there, so Miami will go to the free throw line. Banks, as we mentioned, signing a free agent deal. Last year played with Boston and Minnesota. This is his third NBA team, fourth year in the league. As Quinn knocks down the free throw. NBA TV tomorrow. It's the Pistons and the Bulls from Chicago. Coverage begins at 8:30. And then TNT next Thursday. The Nets at Chicago, followed by Cleveland here in Phoenix. Coverage beginning at 8. New Jersey and Chicago played tonight. That was a wild game.
Yes, indeed. That was a big win for the Nets. The Nets needed that.
And, of course, that game on NBA TV, Ben Wallace playing against his former team, the Pistons.
Now, this is a nice tempo. 27-21, Mike. You know, you're looking at the clock, 25 seconds. Nice. Big thing right now, you want to end strong here.
Quinn gets to the basket. Quinn, as we said, not afraid and drives hard to the basket. He's got a chance for a three-point play.
Now, they like this guy's courage. This guy is not afraid to shoot the basketball. He can make the threes. He wants to take the ball strong to the basket, and he can finish.
Banks picks up his second. Quinn played 4 years at Notre Dame. Last year averaged about 18 a game. Dwayne Wade with that right wrist injury. Happy for the youngster. Three-point game as the Suns will hold it for the final shot of the period. Diaw. Barbosa on the drive. Oh, nice move from Barbosa. Didn't have a lot of room. 2.3 remaining. Darrell Wright kicks it in. Haslam has a chance. That'll count if it goes. And it's short. Miami Heat survived the first big wave. They survived the 15-0 run by the Suns.
No, I like it. It's a good tempo. They've had excellent shot opportunities. A lot of clear looks at the basket. They must cut down on the easy field goals by Phoenix.
Steve Nash shot 11. The Heat shot 56%. Suns by 5. Second quarter set to begin in Phoenix. The Suns lead in the Heat 29-24. Ronnie Rothstein, the head coach now that Pat Riley has taken a leave of absence to have knee and perhaps future hip surgery.
Well, you can see right now, he's trying to get them to hold up. At the clock there, you're seeing 13 seconds. Run the clock as best you can, and then try to get in the paint. Unfortunately for Miami, too many jump shots that didn't score for them, and then 0 offensive rebounds.
What he was telling us earlier today, of course, he's been an assistant. He says that's the longest 12 inches in the world, going from that assistant seat on the bench to the head coach seat on the bench. It's not that far in distance, but boy, oh boy, what a different world it is.
Well, it's always easy to make suggestions to the coach. You give him 2 or 3 ideas almost on every possession. And then what happens? He makes his choices. Sometimes he accepts what you are offering, sometimes he does not. But the main thing is you're not making that final decision. And then it consumes you 24 hours a day, the job itself. Because what you're trying to do is do everything that Pat Riley wanted out of you, maximize the talent of the team, develop the young players.
Morning with 1 on the shot clock, just gets it off, won't go. Kurt Thomas the rebound. Of course, Rothstein has Bob McAdoo and Keith Atkins and Eric Spoelstra with him on the bench. And Pat Riley said he will stay connected with the team during his recovery from knee surgery.
Mike, this is an excellent coaching staff. They do a terrific job with their players at practice and before the games here on game night.
Quinn fouls Barbosa. They'll say before the shot, so the Suns will take it out of bounds. So Quinn picks up his first. Barbosa, quick 3. That's good. And for Barbosa, and the Suns are 4 for 5 from downtown.
See, Barbosa Barbosa is so quick off the dribble and great finishing going to the basket, especially on the left side of the floor, that you have a tendency to play him loose on the threes, and that's where he is dangerous.
Diaw, nice outlet. Barbosa, one man to beat. And a foul. Quinn will pick up his second. What a terrific outlet pass from Diaw.
Well, anytime that you play Phoenix and a shot goes up, your transition defense must be aware that Barbosa and Sean Marion take off early, and you got to stop them in the open floor. Sounds easy to do. They're two of the best finishers that we have in the league.
So Barbosa to the line. The Suns, the best free throw shooting team in the NBA. And Barbosa right now, as Peyton and Jason Williams come back in, he's the second bench scorer in the league. Only Ben Gordon, as a bench player, averages more points per game. And a lot of career-high numbers for Leandro Barbosa. This is his fourth year in the league. Young man from Brazil, was a first-round pick back in 2003. And every year he gets better and better. He is one of the quickest players, one of the fastest players in the NBA.
Absolutely. And he shoots such a high percentage, Mike. That's why he's so dangerous. And the other thing that you like about him is that he plays hard every night. And Steve Nash said to us today that he thinks he's one of the best guards in the league, period.
Yeah, he just says because he's a little overshadowed by some of the All-Stars here in Phoenix. Meanwhile, a nice entry pass and morning strong finish. There goes Barbosa again. James Jones puts it in. Jones now they're 5 of 6 from three-point range.
He can do that. And remember, like we told you, fans, they attempt the most threes in the league. They get out there to get 24 a game. They make the most. They make 9 a game. So you have to be aware of them picking up those extra points.
Horning, foul from behind. And he'll shoot 2. Horning, who looked like he was struggling early, laboring, back on.
Well, I like the fact that they're going to him because he can score the ball, and especially they're getting him the ball within 6 feet of the basket. And he can finish down inside. Now, he's not a high percentage foul shooter. But the thing is, while he's out on the floor, let him go at Stoudemire. And right now, let him go at either Diaw or Kurt Thomas, whichever the two guys picks him up.
Saw that he was 3rd in the league in block shots. Only Jermaine O'Neal and Marcus Camby ahead of him. He's going to be 37 years old next month. 14th year in the league. Thought about retiring after winning his ring, but said he felt good, wanted to play more.
Mike, he's only playing 24 minutes a game. He's doing all this in 24 minutes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And Banks draws the foul. So Jason Williams picks up his second. And Banks to the line. The Suns signed Marcus Banks. They were going after John Salmons. He was somebody they really wanted to sign. Salmons obviously wound up signing with Sacramento. And they got Banks. Banks last year really came on after he was traded from Boston to Minnesota. Played very well in 40 games with the Timberwolves. And still trying to find his niche. He hasn't gotten a lot of consistent minutes. It's a tough team to get comfortable with.
Mike, they only play 8 men. 8-man rotation. You have a 15-man roster. 7 guys do not play here on most nights. The only reason Banks is in there tonight because Barbosa moved up to take Bell's position.
When I say tough to get comfortable with, I mean from a basketball standpoint, as Darrell Wright misses. Rebound, Barbosa knocked out of bounds, and a tee ball. Good hustle from Haslam. Because off the court, this team has as good a chemistry as we've seen from any team all season. They're just such great camaraderie with the Phoenix Suns.
Well, I find that difficult, to accept as a player if I'm player 9 through 15. And the fact that they have that chemistry is a testimony to the coaching staff as well as the individual players themselves, because they're keeping everyone happy in this situation. Now, we realize winning helps that chemistry.
Of course, they weren't always winning. Kurt Thomas picking up his second foul. They started the season 1-5. And Mike D'Antoni admitted, he said he was really concerned. What he was telling us earlier today, I was going back in my office and I was in a fetal position. That's how concerned he was. The coaches get like that. And they were struggling early in the year. Not losing by a lot, but losing. And boy, did they turn it around. They had that franchise-high 15-game winning streak.
They have lost 8 games this year, and the biggest margin was 8 points. So they've been in barn burners night in and night out.
Kurt Thomas misses. In fact, their 15-game losing streak was snapped when Washington beat them here in overtime. The Wizards are the only Eastern Conference team to beat them. They're 13-1 against the East. The 15-game winning streak, that is. Haslam. And he carried it. So we'll have a timeout. Just over 3 minutes gone by. Barbosa's been a real spark off the bench. And the Suns, the 10-point lead. Some highlights from the Sixers and T-Wolves when we come back. All right, Fred. I happen to think cheap suits, some look pretty good. I don't know why that's such a negative comment. Meanwhile, the Suns up by 10. I mentioned that 15-game streak. I said losing streak. Obviously, a 15-game winning streak for the Suns. They were just unbelievable during that stretch.
Well, they in the NBA, you've got to beat who you're playing. They do an outstanding job. They're 13-1 against the sub-500 teams. But right now, there's one thing that has to concern people, and that is the fact that against the West, they are 10-7, and they are 0-5 against the top 3 teams in the West with them: Dallas, San Antonio, and Utah. That's where you really have to be concerned about, because you only worry about the top teams. Your team is running perfectly against the weak teams.
There you see. And some of those losses were in that first stretch, and close losses, so they were right there. Nice entry pass, and Stoudemire with the finish. Boris Diaw threw him a bullet. 4 assists for Diaw.
Mike, your point is perfect. They have lost 8 games by 8 points or less. So they're in every game. The team is getting stronger week by week because Stoudemire continues to grow. His hop is getting better. His rebounding and his shot blocking is there.
Haslam, the offensive rebound.
And Sean Marion both get 1.5 shot blocks a game.
Jason Williams, nice secondary move, kicks it out, right, and right travel, left is perfect.
See, that's a young player making a bad mistake. Anytime a guy is dribbling in the paint or on the baseline, when that pass comes out, you got to be able to catch and shoot the ball all in one motion.
So Wright will sit down. 5 turnovers for the Miami Heat, just 1 for Phoenix. Diaw tried to go an alley-oop, but a hold against Miami, so they'll keep it here. Haslam picks up his second foul, and he'll go to the bench.
Now, if you're watching closely, see, that's what makes this team so well. Such a good functioning ball club and happy. Diaw came off that screen, Mike, in the paint, wide open. Could have attempted a 13, 14-foot jump shot. Instead, dumps the ball down into the guy who has the mismatch underneath the basket. Perfect.
Stoudemire misses the first. Haslam's going to stay in the game. Was heading toward the bench after picking up his second personal. But Ronnie Rothstein keeping him in. Stoudemire had that microfracture knee surgery, one that is very difficult to come back from. You really need patience. And he admitted he was concerned, especially in preseason. Saw him over in Germany. Just wasn't playing right. He had a lot of pain after he'd play a game, but now he's going back-to-back. He's practicing, and he is jumping like he did. Capono trying to get on track. Rushed it.
See, we go back to what we said at the top. Miami needs Capono and Payton to help out here. They must score some points if you're going to stay in this game.
James Jones can't get it to fall, and Haslam fouled by Stoudemire. Good sportsmanship from Stoudemire. His first personal. Think about Stoudemire. This young man is only 24 years old. It's his 5th year in the league. Of course, he went right from high school to the NBA, so he still has a lot of growth in his game. And he admitted that the knee surgery helped him from a standpoint. He began thinking more. Warning with the finish.
Beautiful. Beautiful pass by Jason Williams and a great finish by Murray.
Stoudemire, wild shot. Ball batted around. Lonzo Mourning has 11 points.
Well, see, I like the strategy there, though. Anytime that Mourning scores, Stoudemire takes off. They get the ball in on the sideline, up, and they're looking up the floor for Stoudemire.
Capono. Nice little fake.
There you go.
Jason Capono getting the start. Last 6 games, he's averaging 16 points a game, shooting about 56% from the field. Bad pass from Jones.
Oh, you got 3-on-1.
Jason Williams draws the foul. And he'll go to the line as Boris Diaw picks up his second.
Now just watch this play. See, Jason could force the shot. No, drop it off to the man who has the mismatch going to the basket. And I like the way that Mourning is attacking the rim. Everything tonight with him down low, he's going for the power dunk.
So Jason Williams to the line. Williams in his second year in Miami. Of course, he started off playing with Sacramento. He was known as White Chocolate, very flashy player. And then you had him in Memphis, Hubie. Where was his biggest growth when he went to the Grizzlies?
Well, in turnovers, assisted turnovers. He led the league for starting guards twice for us. Before that, he was never ranked higher than 27th in the league. And by that we mean he was averaging right between 3, 8, and 4 assists for every turnover. He did a great job for us, and he was the top percentage three-point shooter in the last 3 minutes for 2 straight years. Now that's a terrific stat.
Nash for 3. That's good. Nash's third three-pointer. And the Suns back up by 10.
It's at night. You got to rush them off the 3. By that we mean the closest defender, close that guy out defensively and force him to dribble the ball inside the 3-point line.
They're 6 of 7 from downtown. Jason Williams can't connect. Mourning the rebound.
Nice.
Goes up strong. And he draws the foul.
Now that is the first Miami offensive rebound in this game.
And a strong one from Mourning. Lonzo Mourning coming out with a lot of force. He's got 11 points. Dealing with the young guy down the other end. Nice matchup to watch as the Suns and Heat battle here in Phoenix.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by Singular, raising the bar, and the all-new CR-V. It's something new to crave from Honda.
Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns leading by 10. Nash with 14 points. Of course, Nash is a terrific athlete as a young boy growing up in Canada, played all kinds of sports. But he said one in particular really helped him in the game he excels at now.
I think soccer probably had the biggest impact on me as a basketball player. I think for footwork, balance, coordination, athleticism, I think the attributes that I've been able to use in my game as a basketball player have come from soccer in a lot of ways. And I think also being able to see the court. In soccer, I always felt like you had to find a creative way to get the ball to a teammate, put it over, around, bend it. In basketball, when I got to use my hands, I felt like I was cheating. I had all these different ways that I could get the ball to my teammates. And so I think soccer really helped me in more than just my footwork as well.
He's still cheating.
It's so great when you're around their team and you talk to each player and then each coach. And everyone just talks about how great he is and how easy he makes the game for everyone else. And that's the key point. He makes them happy. He makes it easy for them because the passes are always right on the money.
And that was a right-on-the-money pass from Diaw, his 5th assist. Such an unselfish team.
Oh,
dangerous pass.
Yeah.
Earl Barron trying to save it. He's crashing into the table. And well, here's Nash before the game. He still loves soccer. Plays a lot during the summer. Can't get enough of it. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining. Alley-oop. Stoudemire couldn't control it. And Mourning the rebound. Earl Barron, second-year center out of Memphis, getting some time.
Well, last time that we had them, Barron came in and did a nice job for them.
The last time these two teams played, it was mid-December in Miami. And it was another scenario, as Capono misses, where the Heat didn't have Shaq and they didn't have Dwayne Wade. And the Suns were up 25 late in the fourth. The Heat went on a 22-2 run to get back in the game. Phoenix eventually won as Barbosa puts that one in.
Now, is this guy having a quiet game? I mean, he's up here right now, shooting beautifully. Everything is looking easy for Barbosa, and he's doing it quietly. Nothing flashy.
5 for 5 from the field. Part of 57% shooting from the #1 shooting team in the NBA. Back in Phoenix, the Heat trailing the Suns by 12. Of course, Pat Riley taking a leave of absence. Ronnie Rothstein now the head coach of the Heat. And it's been a tough year down in Florida to be a head coach. Joe Girardi wins Coach of the Year. And then he gets fired by the Marlins. Larry Coker, the Miami Hurricanes, fired. Of course, Coach Saban, a lot of controversy this past week. So he could take the Alabama job, quitting the job with the Dolphins, and now Pat Riley on leave.
Well, when you look at Joe Girardi, and then you also look at the other Coker situation in Miami, how fast it can change at the level of high Division I football and in Major League Baseball. And we all know in basketball it can change in a heartbeat.
Some pressure jobs as Haslam misses. Barrel for the rebound. Mourning again. Goes
Nice.
Throws it down. Alonzo Mourning now with 15 points here in the first half. And with that rebound, he just became the Heat's all-time rebounding leader. Just past Ronnie Cycli. Stoudemire comes right back and banks it in.
That's what I like about his game now. He's more fluid going from side to side, and then he has the ability, we all know that he can score the ball with his back to the basket, but then also down inside.
And a loose ball foul will go against Mourning. That's going to be his third. You can't afford to lose him. Ronnie Rothstein talking with Gary Zielinski, didn't like the call.
Yeah, he didn't. Naturally, because you're on the road, you're still in a 10-point game, you're within striking distance, and then when you get down inside against the zone, you got to score.
Darrell Wright will check in. And they're in the penalties, so Sean Marion will shoot. Mourning's going to no doubt come out with 3:34 remaining. Reminder, send your favorite player to Las Vegas. Log on to NBA.com and fill out your ballot for the 2007 NBA All-Star Game. Vote daily in 20 different languages at NBA.com. A little bit later on, we're going to have some players that you feel have a real shot or certainly consideration to make their very first All-Star team.
Well, there are quite a few of them. I mean, we're narrowing it down to 5, but it could very easily be 10 guys. Right now, once again, Phoenix is showing you zone. I like this idea because they came out, they trapped a little bit earlier in the quarter, and they came back in that last possession. They're going to force Miami to show that they can get the ball inside and get high percentage shots.
Williams throws it behind Haslam, who gets it back, kicks it out to Payton. One on the shot clock, just gets it on and puts it in as the shot clock expires.
Well, they needed that, and Gary Payton needed that to get going here. He's 1 for 4 from the floor.
Stoudemire catches, lost it, but a foul. Capono saying, no, not me. Bernie Fryer whistles him for his second.
Amari at the line. One plus the penalty for 2.
Stoudemire back to the line. You know, you just want to mention our business lost a good man this week. Jim Carvelis, who was the play-by-play voice of the Baltimore Bullets and the New York Knicks in the late 70s and the 80s and early 90s. He died earlier this week at age 71 after a battle with prostate cancer. That was a guy that was not only a terrific play-by-play man, but somebody who just loved the NBA. He was a Knick announcer when you were up coaching in New York, and you remember him.
A terrific friend and a great announcer. And he loved being around the players, and the players really respected him. And then one of the top soccer announcers that we had when he did the Cosmos, when that soccer professional league in the United States, the Cosmos were drawing 60 to 75,000 every game, and he was the voice of the Cosmos. Terrific guy, and really springboard that golf situation that they were running at Tahoe for the amateurs and pro guys, and he had his hands into a lot of things, and people loved him.
His signature call as Stoudemire misses was bullseye on a big basket. Playing hot potato right now as we get under 2.5 minutes remaining here in the second. And a foul on Darrell Wright. The Heat in the penalty now. Wright picks up his first.
When the game becomes half court, Mike, and you're trying to defend Phoenix, we all know that every one of their guys, starters, can put the ball on the floor, beat you off the dribble, get down inside, draw a double team, and then either finish or kick out, getting a wide open three, which makes it so difficult to guard them in half court.
22nd timeout by the Heat. 55-42, Heat trail by 13 here late in the second as we go to Lisa Salters.
Mike, you just look at the Heat players right now and you can see the frustration on their faces. I was talking to Udonis Haslem in the locker room before the game, and he said this whole season so far has just been frustrating for everyone. He says particularly for me, because after everything that we went through last year, the ups and the downs and how we rallied and pulled together as a team and won the championship, and now to be at this point, it's just very frustrating. He said, I don't know what the problem is, but for whatever reason, the players aren't on the same pages as the coaches are. And he said, I don't know how we fix it. And you can see that just sense of not knowing what to do. You can see it in the Heat right now.
Well, Lisa, even before the Shaquille O'Neal injury, he only played 4 games, but before the Pat Riley situation, as Wright draws a personal foul, before Dwayne Wade had the wrist injury, they were having their problems right from the get-go. Pat Riley was very upset, was ripping the team for what he felt was poor defense, the lack of effort. So they were having their problems. It's maybe a championship hangover part of it, injury certainly the other, but they just were not right from the start of the season.
Well, let's look at a couple of situations. Number one, in shooting, field goals, three-point shooting, and foul shooting, they are in the bottom 3 in the league. And then also, not only is it a shooting problem, but their differential is a -5.3. And that is a telling tale of your offense and defense. They are 28th in the league in differential. Now you say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, last year they were a +3.5. So they've had a negative swing of a -8 points difference from the amount of points they score from the amount of points that they give up. So this is a total collapse.
Nash short. They've lost 4 straight. They had 5 in a row on the road, and they've already lost 6 times this year by 20 or more points. They've had some games where they just get whacked, including the opening night when Chicago beat them by 42. Minute and a half remaining.
Right now, they got to get something going here down inside against the zone. Quick hands by the Matrix man, Sean Marion.
Took it right out of Wright's hands. Jones knocks it down, and that would be a big boost. James Jones is really struggling this year. 25% from the field. Mike D'Antoni has hopes that he can become part of the rotation.
Well, he likes him because he can not only make the 3, but he's also an excellent defender. And that's what Mike is looking for. He's looking for him to come out of it because he played much better last year.
He's a smart player.
Yep.
As Payton gets in there, blocked but a foul. Stoudemire called for his second.
Now, as you look as a coach at the Miami offense against the zone, they are getting absolutely, with Morning's not in there, they're getting absolutely 0 penetration of any passes going into the painted area. Anything is coming on baseline cutters. Well, what's happening is you're playing basically a perimeter type of offensive game. And that's not going to get it done unless you shoot a very, very high percentage.
You see Payton's percentage low. Payton has struggled this season as well. Stoudemire sits down with the 2 fouls. Kurt Thomas back in. And ball knocked out of bounds. So the Heat will get a new 24.
When you talk to people of the Miami coaching staff or people traveling with them, Well, you know, when Shaq and Wade come back, we're going to turn it on and we're going to make the playoffs. And it sounds so easy, but this is a very difficult 6-game Western trip for them right now. And if Wade does not come back and Shaq does not come back, and then you have Posey and Antoine Walker, they've got to beat this 1 percentage point on body fat that needs to be corrected. Otherwise, this team could get down so deep, Mike, that it's going to be very difficult for them to turn it on.
Well, if they're in the West, they probably have no shot already.
Absolutely.
But the fact that they're in the East, they still have a shot. And this trip would be difficult even if they were healthy and had everybody. 6 games as Nash kicks it out. That last turnover by Barron, the 10th for Miami. Only 2 for Phoenix. Kurt Thomas, an air ball.
Well, Kurt Thomas, we know, has the flu. And I want to tell you out there, Barbosa also has the flu. But I don't think it's bothering him here tonight.
Not showing the effects with his 14 points and 5 for 5 from the field.
Both guys were down today at the shoot-around, and coaching staff were just hoping that they could play tonight.
Right. In and out. That one halfway down. And that will end the first half. The Phoenix Suns shoot 54% from the field. Miami Heat, as we mentioned, with 10 turnovers, trying to hang in there, so short-handed. A big first half for Leandro Barbosa, who's with our Lisa Salters.
Thanks, Mike. Leandro, you're perfect from the field tonight. 5 for 5 from the floor, 2 for 2 from 3. How have you been able to get into such a good rhythm tonight?
I just feel good. Exception because we don't have a Raja Bell right now, and he's a good player for us. So I just feel comfortable and confidence right now.
Now, with the flu going around your team, how are you feeling? How is it affecting you?
I'm a little bit bad, but I know that I have to come here and play really hard, so I'm able to do that, and coach has been giving me a lot of opportunity in this game, so I'm happy for that.
Don't get me sick. Thanks a lot. Mike.
Clean that microphone. What a terrific first half for Barbosa. Coming up the half, it's the Toyota halftime show. Mavericks a big win over the Spurs in San Antonio tonight. Tracy McGrady and Gilbert Arenas continues his big nights this season. And who's your MVP? That's up for discussion on the Toyota halftime show. Phoenix Suns rolling over right now the undermanned Miami Heat. 60-45, a 15-point lead. The Toyota halftime show coming up right after these messages. ESPN's NBA Friday, broadcast in high definition, presented by Olivia. Here in Phoenix, the U.S. Airways Center, the Suns leading the Heat by 15. Let's take a look at our Dodge storyline as the Suns with a big second quarter. And some of the numbers back that up, UB Brown.
Yeah, you just love their shooting. They're at 54%, but the key, 7 threes. Also, they're number 1 foul shooting team in the league, 15 for 18. Only 2 turnovers, Mike, in 60 points. Now, naturally, they're going to beat you in the paint because of Stoudemire and the fact that they get to the basket so easy.
And right now, 15-point lead. Hi again, everyone, with Hall of Famer UB Brown. Mike Breen on in. Is it true your New Year's resolution was not to lose any games this year?
Yeah, right. No, I tell you, I'm enjoying watching them play here tonight. They just don't take nights off. They get teams that are struggling, they bury you. And that's why we say that if they win this tonight, they'll be 14-1 against sub-500 teams.
And they bury you with terrific ball movement.
Right. It's nice to watch because it's contagious. They lead the league in assists at 26.5 a game. Here's Barbosa making a pitch out, and then you get the 3 from the corner. You just run without the ball here. I'll have an open shot, but I'll sacrifice and give it to you because I know that you will give it right back to me and make the game easy for all of us. Diaw is having a great game with 5 assists at the half. It's contagious. It's all dictated by Steve Nash, and everyone is playing to their potential.
All right, let's check in with Lisa Salters.
Well, Mike, the first thing that Ron Rothstein pointed to, the 10 turnovers. He said, you just cannot be that offensively inefficient against the Phoenix Suns, or he said, they will kill you like they're doing us right now. Another thing he said, defensive lapses. He said, we're just making too many mental errors on the defensive side of the ball. He said, that's already led to 8 to 10 points for them. He said, you can't give up these easy backdoor layups, letting them get out ahead on the break. said if we can just hang in there and hope a little bit, maybe the law of averages will go our way. They'll start missing some shots and we'll start making some. Mike?
Well, he talks about defensive lapses. I think you can pretty much say almost every team in the league has defensive lapses against the Suns.
Well, because of the constant pressure that they put on you in their transition game. When they get in a half-court game, the movement. But right now, Miami, and for Ronnie Rothstein, 3 guys have got to step up. Capono, Haslam, and Payton are 3 for 14. Alonzo Mourning and Jason Williams are both in double figures and are shooting well. But they need help here. And these 3 guys have got to step up. They're getting good looks at the basket, but you've got to shoot a better percentage.
They shot 45% in the first half, as we saw, and Capono's been one of the hot players for them, shooting the ball well. Just 2 of 6 in that first half. Capono, number 1 in the NBA in three-point field goal percentage. Puts one up, and well short, Mourning the rebound.
Well, they contested him well, Mike. Barbosa's done an excellent job getting in his face and getting up on him anytime that a three-point attempt is there.
Payton gets inside and banks it in. Now, you brought up the defense on Phoenix. Are they a much improved defensive team this year?
Absolutely. They play better, and they do a better job in the fourth quarter, especially from the 6 minutes down. They're winning close games this year. Remember, a year ago, they didn't win these close games.
Mourning with a beautiful block.
You got to get a score here.
Payton, that's a 2. Puts it in. So just like that, it's an 11-point game.
See, Alonzo Mourning is having a great game. He had 15 points, 5 rebounds, and then now another shot block.
Stoudemire saves it. Barbosa had the big first half. He's starting again. Raja Bell suspended for a play the other night in a game against Toronto. 1-game suspension. Diaw. Mourning tried to alter it.
If you're going to trap Phoenix, you've got to trap and get right up into the guy's chest to make him turn around. If you just stand there like they did there, Nash picked that out and made the perfect pass.
Offensive foul. Payton pushed off. The first foul on Gary Payton and the 11th turnover. Offensive fouls, turnovers.
Now, the big fella right there, we told you Alonzo Mourning in 24 minutes a game is 3rd in the league in shot blocks, a shade under 3. And tonight he's showing you why. He's going after every single opportunity, whether it's his man or someone else's.
Nash can't get it to go. Stoudemire had it, lost it. Haslam comes up with his 7th rebound. Make that his 8th. Haslam hasn't scored, but he's done a lot of other things for the Heat, who still trail by 13.
High pick and roll now.
Haslam. And there's his first points. 2 points, 6 assists, which ties a career high, and the 8 rebounds for Haslam. Stoudemire goes right at Mourning.
He has such a beautiful touch for a big man. He can hit that jump shot out to 17, 18 feet, but he can make that shot on the move. He plays the board well. That time, I was surprised because he actually shot and switched that shot. That was a tough angle.
Mourning, tough angle on that shot. Won't go. And Stoudemire the rebound. Nash looks to push.
Lonzo's alive tonight, though. He's really attacking the rim.
Marion misses. The quick second jump. Won't go, but a foul. And Sean Marion will shoot 2.
So you can say you're going to play Capono up front. See, but by playing him up front, he's got to rebound the basketball. And right now, he's being overmatched, trying to match up with Sean Marion. Sean Marion's just jumping over the top of him.
Marion hits the first. That foul on Haslam, his 3rd. Marion, 2nd on the team in scoring, leads them in rebounding, leads them in steals, leads them in blocks.
Leads them in minutes. You just keep going on.
But it's all part of this unselfishness that the Phoenix Suns have. They don't care who has the most points on a certain night. You know, certain nights that Diaw is going to have a big night, or Nash, or Barbosa, or Marion, or Stoudemire. Haslam, nice bank shot.
Nice. They went to him there. It's the 2nd time that they've gone to him. The other time he had a turnover. But you know that he can get that shot and he can shoot up over the top. They're not going to double team. They're going to play you man-to-man.
Stoudemire from outside. And Haslam with his 9th rebound. Haslam actually this year, his numbers have been better on the road. Miami native, who's one of the underrated players for the Heat. Does all the dirty work. Warning. Some contact. Haslam right there. Can't get it to fall. Ball tipped and taken by Nash.
Well, that was a difficult situation. I thought there was a foul on both players.
Barbosa for three. And Haslam dives on the floor. Heat trying to scrap their way back into this one. They're down by as many as 16.
But you have to take your time because Alonzo Mourning is exerting a lot of energy, and you can see he's tired. But when he posts up, you got to get down in there and get him the ball.
And a loose ball foul is going to go against Mourning after Jason Williams misses a three. So that's 4 fouls on Mourning. And he'll have to come out. Michael Goliak quickly hops off the bench. And that's going to be a big absence. He has been very solid tonight. 15 points, 6 rebounds, and a block.
That's why we say, let's see Capono, Gary Payton, Haslam step up here now. And along with Jason Williams, you got to get some points. You got to shoot a better percentage.
Nash falling away. Steve Nash now with 16.
Well, Barbosa and Jason Williams. Barbosa and Steve Nash just wore out the guards in the first half. Both of them had outstanding halves, coming in with 14 points, but the high percentage shooting.
There's Capono. Good help defense from Stoudemire. Coaching staff been raving about his defense recently. Jason Williams to the basket, blocked, but a goaltend as Marion hit it after it hit the glass.
Anytime that Phoenix switches out on Jason Williams or Payton, and they get a front court player, like in that situation, you got to read it. As soon as you see that forward on you, take him to the basket off the dribble.
Nash lost it, got it back. The Heat wanted a carry. Rothstein pretty angry. Here's Barbosa. Oh, he gets up. Even on that.
Oh, he's so quick, Mike. He has that ability, not only the quickness of foot, but then he's a slicer. He can beat you on a trap. He splits the trap so well.
Lead back up to 15. Barbosa and Nash, the leading scorers in the game, each with 16. And Jason Williams carrying.
Oh, my. See, that was a great move by Jason. That was an excellent hesitation, and then the explosion. See, once again, he had a forward on him. Diaw picked him up, the middle's open, take it to the basket. Unfortunately, got a tough call there with a carry.
Turnovers have hurt the Heat. They have 12. The Suns have only 2. And a technical foul has been called against, I believe, Keith Askins, the assistant coach for Miami.
Well, they're frustrated. Now, unfortunately, Bernie Fryer was down there. Ronnie Rothstein wants to know the reason why. Well, it's going to happen because they've had a few situations here in this third quarter. Mourning and Haslam getting hit down inside, they didn't get the call. They thought that was a good move by Jason Williams in that situation. He was by Diaw. So when you're on the road, you're fighting for every basket, Mike.
And it was on Askins. Here's the carry.
Yeah, it was the carry.
So the Suns now equal their largest lead of the game as we're approaching the midway point of the third here in Phoenix.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Back in Phoenix, 6:11 remaining in the third. 16-point lead for the Phoenix Suns, which equals their largest of the game. Barbosa to inbound. And again, Miami playing without, of course, Shaquille O'Neal with the knee surgery, Dwayne Wade and the wrist problem, and also James Posey and Antoine Walker out as they were inactive. Haven't met conditioning requirements set by the team. They're not even on the trip now. Barbosa has to put it up. And it goes in. Oh, Barbosa just had to flip it up with the shot clock expiring. Yeah, this is the largest lead of the game.
He's having some night, Mike. He's 7 for 8 from the floor. He's made 2 threes. He comes in here right now with 18 points. Very quietly, just piling them up.
Shot clock down to 7. Gary Payton has to put it up. Tough shot. I think he went off his right foot on that. Still nailed it.
Well, it's interesting. Anytime that Miami takes the ball off the dribble from this, clear out type of a situation, they're getting down inside for high percentage shots.
Travel called on Barbosa. He was not expecting that pass from Nash. It's only the 3rd turnover by Phoenix.
Now that is a big stat in this game. Now just keep. How about that beautiful return pass from Nash to Barbosa down inside? When you consider the fact that they have 73 points and only 3 turnovers, that's fantastic basketball.
NBA record for fewest turnovers in a game is 2. Jason Williams misses that. That was actually set last year. Milwaukee. Bucks did it in the game against the Indiana Pacers. That's pretty good. 2 turnovers the whole entire game. Nash fires away. Hits a 3. Nash from downtown. His 4th three-pointer of the game. And they are 8 for 11 from that distance.
Like when you're not double teaming the post, then it's inexcusable when they throw the ball back out to your man that you are not on top of your man.
Foul, count it, and 1. Stoudemire mad as Haslam able to bank it in and draw the personal.
Well, they're going to Haslam now, and Haslam's doing a nice job. He has 3 field goals in this quarter, and they're all down in that post area on the right side of the lane.
Udonis Haslam, the Miami native, born and raised at the high school in Miami, College of Florida. Very, very generous at giving back. Has his own foundation in the city of Miami. And he said the best thing about winning the title has been that now all of a sudden important people are now helping him out on his foundation. He's getting a lot more help and a lot more finances to help more of the troubled youth of Miami. Terrific young man who loves the city that he plays in and is giving back in a big way. Shot clock down. Banks won't go. Marion, the rebound. The quick follow. Here comes Jason Williams, but they'll slow it down. Under 4 minutes remaining here in the 3rd. Payton on the drive. Capono for 3. Jason Capono from downtown, and it's a 13-point game.
Right, in this quarter, anytime they put the ball down from the perimeter, they're getting past people, and they're finding open people with high percentage shots.
Marion was down. He's the 4th starter in double figures now for Phoenix, which is the norm. Again, 5 players average 15 or more for this team. Doliak, a good shooter.
Now that play, that was by design. A high pick and roll. If you trap and then you rotate, it opens up the baseline man. That was a beautiful set.
Nash, after the bad pass, keeps it alive. Shot clock did not reset. For Thomas to turn around, he had Gary Payton on him and rushed the shot.
Just take your time, Miami. Just take your time. Get a high percentage shot. You're whittling your way back into this game now.
Haslam wanting it. Inside, Haslam. Can't get it to fall that time.
High percentage shot, though, Mike. That was good execution.
Nash to Diaw. Banks. And Marion another rebound. The quick putback. And Haslam grabs another. That's his 13th rebound for Udonis Haslam. Payton. And foul on Banks before the shot. The Suns now on the penalty. A foul to give. As we're coming up on 2 minutes remaining here in the 3rd. Steve Nash has had a big scoring night. 20 points to lead all scorers. And his Suns right now with a 13-point lead. 2:09 remaining, third quarter in Phoenix, and the Suns leading 78-65. UB, of course, the All-Star game, a little over a month away. A lot of guys having terrific seasons that have a chance to make their first All-Star team.
Well, I like what we have here with Utah with Boozer. He's having a sensational year. Howard at Orlando, not only with the rebounding, shot blocking, but with the points. Paul, one of the best point guards we have in the league. And then also when we have Howard with the rebounding and the shot blocking and the points, and then Okafor. Now there's a guy that is right up in there in rebounding and in shot blocking.
Fourth in rebounding for Okafor, fourth in shot blocking. Of course, Dwight Howard is number 1 in the NBA in rebounding. I think Dwight Howard has a very good chance of making. Of course, when you look at All-Star guy, how much do you take into account the team's record when you're looking at All-Star?
Well, that's what it comes down to when the people vote for the second team that are for the players that are not voted in. I think that has a lot to do with it. We know that there are other players that are having great years. Martin at Sacramento, Barbosa right here.
Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson, Gordon in Chicago. How about Randolph? And even Mike Miller. But then again, you say, well, those teams, a lot of those teams aren't winning. Consequently, should those players be in the All-Star game? Well, Okafor, look what the young man is doing. How much better can the guy play?
Well, you look like a guy like Boozer. Utah is playing great. But for Boozer to make it, you already have Nowitzki and Duncan as Payton knocks down a three-pointer. Kevin Garnett. That's
right.
a tough spot to make an All-Star team in the West.
Well, everyone, the Dallas people are campaigning naturally for Howard at the forward position. But then when you put up those other three guys, Nowitzki, Garnett, and then you just say, hey, wait a second, how else do we get a guy in here? And it's so difficult because three power forwards, Duncan, Nowitzki, and Garnett are going to make it. And then you have to say, well, what about Sean Marion? Right. And then as you start going through here, it's so difficult in the West to make it up front.
Meanwhile, Stoudemire's bucket, the big one, as the Heat had cut it to 10. He's trying to scrap their way back into this game. And they're hanging around as we wind down the third period.
Mike, they've been able to keep the tempo, their tempo. They're getting good shot opportunities. They just needed to keep the other guys to help out in the scoring, and they're getting that with Haslam right now. The big thing is just keep it, run the clock till you get the high percentage shot.
Payton knocks down another three, and they have it down to single digits.
Well, you say now, Haslam and Payton are stepping up, and now all they need is Capono to get hot here to help Williams and Mourning in the scoring.
Payton 4 for 4 in the second half, as Doliak, his outlet pass knocked loose, and Payton was out of bounds.
Yeah, see, that's a tough one. See, they knew that they should have had that ball. Right now, they're arguing right now. Ronnie Rothstein, challenged both referees in regards to he thought that his player pushed the ball back inside before he went out of bounds.
And he's sitting down to make sure they don't see him yelling. But
you can see he's hot. Well, Mike, come on. You know what we said. You got to play a perfect game here now. In the second half, they are doing an excellent job.
They come right back and force the turnover, and will hold it for the final shot of the period. So Williams sets it up.
I see once again, you have Marion on him. They switch. Now Jason's got
lost it on the dribble. Here comes Marcus Banks, puts it up at the buzzer. Oh! He banks it in at the buzzer. What a costly turnover for Miami, and Banks takes advantage with the banker. Clearly gets it off in time. And that gets the crowd right back into it. Crowd got a little sleepy as Miami went on a 14-4 run, and a very costly turnover from Miami. 3 quarters complete here in Phoenix. It's back to a dozen for the Suns. The Phoenix Suns care about their community. More than 50 children in Banner Children's Hospital at Banner Desert Medical Center treated to a surprise when Suns players arrived. Steve Nash, Sean Marion, Leandro Barbosa, Jermaine Jones also stopping in for a visit. The players signing autographs and delivering a lot of holiday gifts. A terrific day for the kids. NBA Cares continuing a tradition of basketball and service to the community. As we begin the fourth quarter, Nash with 20 points and Again, the topic, Hubie, can he win a third consecutive MVP? He's certainly right up there.
Well, look, we've only played a third of the season. All right, we still have 2/3 to go. Injuries can come in here, but this team is on the way to a potential 60-win season. Now, if they are right up there and with Dallas at that time, it will be a battle between Nowitzki and then Nash. There's no doubt about that. If both teams can continue at this pace. And we know that they'll get 60. Then it comes down to, well, what about the other teams, the teams that overachieve and play beyond their potential? And then it will come down to, did coaching get it there or did players get it there? Because right now, you got Boozer in this thing. You got LeBron James with Cleveland. You got Kobe Bryant with the Los Angeles Lakers. And there are some other people that we have definitely missed, and especially this young man here. But this team would have to come a long way. Wade would have to bring them back and try to win that division before he would ever be considered.
A lot of basketball left, obviously.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, a lot of basketball left still in this one. The Heat trying to scrap their way back into it. Shot clock winding down. And a bad pass.
Come on, got to get the loose ball.
24-second violation.
Now, if you go back to Jason Williams' turnover, you're down 9. If you get a shot and finish the quarter and you made it, you only would have been down 7. Instead of with the turnover and then the miraculous shot by Banks, instead of the game being 7, it's 12.
Let's get more with Lisa.
Mike, that is exactly what Ron Rothstein told his team at the end of the third quarter. He said if it wasn't for that turnover and that buzzer beater, we would only be down 7 right now. As you can imagine, Jason Williams was just inconsolable over there on the bench. He had his head down. Ron Rothstein patted him on the head, said, don't worry about it, let's get the next one. And everybody on the team pretty much said the same thing. Don't worry about it. Let's go. Let's play defense. So keep an eye on Jason Williams to see how he responds.
Also keep an eye on Alonzo Mourning. Picks up his 5th foul. Rothstein telling us earlier today, that in his first address to the team as the interim head coach, shot clock winding down, Diaz fouled. His message was, hey, we're in this together. Let's stay together. Let's fight together.
That's all you can do. You keep, here's the play right here. And then this is a miraculous shot, okay? And made by a guy who's been struggling shooting anyway for the early part of the season. So, you got, this is professional basketball. You got to forget about it and move on. There's still plenty of time here. You're going to have a perfect quarter. But you were playing great basketball for a solid 6 minutes.
Haslam, his 5th foul. As Wade dreaming of getting back on the floor. So both Mourning and Haslam each with 5, and they both sit. Doliak back in, Darrell Wright back in with Peyton Capono and Jason Williams. And lead right back up to 15. Stoudemire off the turnover.
Great deflection.
All the way for Stoudemire, and the Heat need a timeout.
Good timeout by Ronnie Rothstein. Got to regroup the gang.
16 turnovers from Miami that has led to 24 Phoenix Sun points. Just over a minute gone by in the 4th. Suns back in control. All right, Fred, big football weekend coming up. Hubie, as a former football coach, you got to be pumped up.
No, you have to be glued to the TV. All right.
Meanwhile, the Suns.
It's great to watch everyone pontificating who's going to win.
Suns doing it again. They're a balanced team, and they're doing the same thing tonight.
Well, they have 5 of their top scorers are scoring between 15 and 20 points a game. And then the 5 top shot makers on this team are averaging between 11 and 15 shot attempts. That is staggering.
Nice shot from Darrell Wright. 15-point game. Still very early here in the 4th. Suns try to win their 5th in a row.
Well, the Suns just cannot fall asleep here right now. You can't get complacent and allow Miami to make a run. Miami's got to make a run here in the next 3 minutes.
I remember the game back in mid-December when Phoenix was in Miami, no Shaq, no Wade. They're up by 25 late in the 4th. I said to you, why are the Suns starting lineup still in the game? All of a sudden, the Heat go on a 22-2 run. Because you never know.
That's exactly right. This is pro basketball. Anything can happen.
Jason Williams rushed the shot. Good defense from Diaz.
Well, he got hit. There's no doubt about it. We had a good angle on that. He really got hit on that shot.
Banks knocks it down. Banks with 9 points off the bench and the lead back up to 17.
Now, Banks has come in, Mike, and has done an excellent job. He's 3 for 5 from the floor, and he's had that miraculous shot from a step over half court.
Steve Nash gets up skipping to the scorer's table. Can't wait to get back on the floor with a big smile on his face. And Barbosa, boy, Payton got hit there.
Yeah, he did.
And Banks goes in. Gary Payton took a whack.
No, he got hit. Now, this is 2 strips of Payton in the backcourt here now as he's trying to initiate the offense. And he thought at both times that he was fouled.
Payton trying to plead his case with the officials. That's a foul. Meanwhile, Jason Williams has just been thrown out.
Yes, he did. See, Jason Williams went right down there after, Gary Zielinski.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade. And T-Mobile, official partner of the NBA. T-Mobile, stick together.
Here in Phoenix, frustration for the Miami Heat, and Jason Williams just ejected as the Suns back up by 19 after a no call. The Heat were arguing. Watch Jason Williams gets a technical foul from Gary Zielinski. That's the second one he got. He was thrown out. 2 quick technicals. Second one's automatic. Jason Capono doing a good job getting Williams away and perhaps avoiding an additional fine. And Jason Williams is done for the night.
Unfortunate situation because we brought out the point. That time in the backcourt, Gary Payton has been stripped on 2 occasions. One was cleaned by Stoudemire. The other one, he was definitely hit, which led to a layup. And then on the drive to the basket, so in 3 out of 5 possessions, they were very frustrated. Now, on that last call, or lack of a call, Jason Williams was the initiator and went right after Gary Zielinski. So you know that to get one that fast, you know that he had to say a few magic words.
And the 2 technical free throws give the Suns their largest lead of the game. Chris Quinn comes back in. Quinn on the drive, flips it up, won't go. Stoudemire, his 8th rebound of the game. Nash has been a scorer first a lot of tonight. Pass inside to Banks, and Banks puts it in. Without Alonzo Mourning, no shot blocking inside.
That's exactly right, Mike, and that's what you tell your team. When Alonzo's not in there, attack the basket. Now, right now, Banks is having a great night. He has 13 points in this game.
Darrell Wright. Shot clock winding down. Wright with the jumper. And gets the bounce. Well, that leather ball bouncing nicely.
Yeah, well, right now, you can see in our game that we had in December at Miami, basically this is the group that brought Miami back, but that was at home. They're going with their young players right now, Wright and Quinn, Capono and Height out there with Doliak.
And Stoudemire fouled. In that game you spoke of, Phoenix led by 25 with 9:52 left, and then the Heat scored 17 straight points. Crowd got crazy. They cut it within 5. Then the Suns held them off. Nash hit a big 3, and that was all she wrote. And Stoudemire goes to the line. Our NBA calendar, NBA TV tomorrow. The Pistons play at Chicago. Ben Wallace against his former team. Coverage begins at 8:30. And then TNT next Thursday. Nets and Bulls from Chicago, followed by these Phoenix Suns hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the lead is ballooned up to 23.
Now, remember at the top of the show, we told you basically Phoenix sits on an 8-man rotation. And that's what they're doing here right now. With 7 and 50 seconds on the clock, they're staying with this 8-man rotation. And they milk it. They allow these guys to get their minutes, keep playing, good chemistry. And then, if the game is totally out of hand, then they might go and open it up to a 10-man rotation. Hard to get minutes here, Mike.
Team playing so well. A foul call on Stoudemire. Suns only their first team foul. And again, as we mentioned at the top, you talked about this. Steve Nash says this is the best team he has played on in his career. And they really feel this year that they can win a championship. They're a much better defensive team. They're 11th in the NBA in opponents' field goal percentage. And they have some good defenders. Rajah Bell, Kurt Thomas, known for their defense. Robert Height comes up short. Stoudemire starting to play defense as well.
Well, I like what Steve said. He said that we have more experience, we are longer, meaning that they have size, and we're stronger physically up front. And then we can shoot the threes.
Well, right now, they're the most efficient team in the league. Highest scoring, highest field goal percentage, free throw percentage. Quinn can't connect.
Well, just the threat, the intimidation of Stoudemire running it down and the potential block caused that miss.
Marion, quick follow. And Doliak the rebound.
For young teams, like when this group was in Miami in that third week of December, it's easier to come back for young players when they're at home, whether it's high school, college, NBA. The fans get them going, they get rolling, they play with a lot more confidence. It's difficult on the road, and especially in a building like this where Phoenix has had such a great year. They're 12-3 in this building.
And there you see the numbers. Obviously, they're struggling from three-point range, only second in the league.
Well, already they have their 9. You know, they make 9 a game. They already have 9, and we still have 6 more minutes to go.
Well, they're 9 for 15, so they could move into first place after tonight and make it just clear across the board. As we approach the midway point.
They have to go inside the Stoudemire. Come on.
Stoudemire can't get it to fall. By the way, the best three-point shooting team in the league right now is San Antonio. Spurs losing earlier on ESPN. Terrific game. Dallas and San Antonio battling, and the Mavs win again, their 13th straight win. Robert Height misses. Quinn the rebound. Oh, nice pass to Wright. And Darrell Wright throws it down.
Pretty fast. Darrell Wright has done an excellent job this year. When they started him and they gave him an opportunity, he played very solid basketball for them. Young high school player drafted 3 years ago. Nice talent.
Nash, meanwhile, now at 22. And we're under 5.5 remaining. Quinn will bring it up. Tell you what, UB, I like this kid, Chris Quinn.
Well, the big thing will be for him during his career is he's going to have to be able to shoot a high percentage. He's going to have to become a better ball handler and distributor if he's going to get major minutes at this level.
Capono gets whacked.
He's got talent. There's no doubt about it. He can shoot the basketball. The big key then will be, can he defend the point guards at this level of play?
And there you see. I want to see the birth certificate.
Yeah, right.
They say he's 23 after his 4 years with the Fighting Irish. Terrific senior year last season, but again, didn't get drafted. He was born in New Orleans. Went to high school in Dublin, Ohio, and then South Bend, Indiana for college. Now he's down at South Beach. A little difference between South Bend and South Beach.
Absolutely.
5 minutes remaining, 22-point lead for the Phoenix Suns. A team that's 22-3 in their last 25 games. That after a 1-5 start that had their head coach worried, like all head coaches get. Jermaine Jones, way off. Turnovers have really hurt Miami tonight. That's number 18.
Well, you can see Ronnie Ross seems very frustrated tonight. That's because you're trying to coach a perfect game. You're trying to coach each basket. And, you know, when you have great talent, you don't have to worry about that. You call the play is executed, guys shoot a high percentage. You get fouled, they make 2 foul shots. They don't turn the ball over. But when you're undermanned like this, you're asking guys to play together in a group. It's very difficult.
You know, that roar UV was for Pat Burke, who's set to check in. Jones misses, and Doliak the rebound. Burke is a fan favorite. Often the guys down at the end of the bench crowd adopts. Earl Barron getting some minutes now as we're under 4 minutes remaining.
Nice.
And Darrell Wright
Now, Darrell Wright, if you're going to be a small forward in this league, you got to be able to be a three-point shooter. He's got to work on that part of his game. But the young man can rebound. He can take you off the dribble. He's got a nice, solid game going.
Marion steps back. Short. And right, the rebound. That's had some big, pretty good rebounder for a small forward.
Yes, he is. But that's what I say, Mike. When they put small forward the three position, you've got to be able to make the three-point shot.
He's only 21. Doliak. Little jump up won't go, and Stoudemire with another double-double. 20 points and 10 rebounds to go along with 3 assists for Amar'e Stoudemire. As we come up on 3 minutes remaining. Jones travel. Substitutions, and here he comes. Pat Burke hears the roar. Burke, the only Irish-born player to appear in an NBA game. He was born in Dublin. He moved to the United States at a young age. Played most of his career in Europe. Won 3 championships in Spain, 1 in Greece. This is his second year with Phoenix. He's 33 years old. In his third year, he played his college ball at Auburn, and they love him here in Phoenix. Height lost it. And wait till he touches the ball. They want him to shoot every time. You have to play it cool, though, when you're in this situation.
Well, the difficult thing, especially when you're playing on the winning team. What the coach wants you to do is come in here, move the ball around, let everybody get a chance, and then, okay, take good shots. We do not want bad shots, and we do not want selfish play.
And Burke doesn't want that either.
No.
Quinn drives, stripped by Banks.
Banks has had a terrific game, Mike. All around.
One of his better games, getting the extra minutes with no Rajah Bell suspended tonight. And Jermaine Jones throws up an air ball. Jalen Rose also in. Darrell Wright. And the roar for the rebound for Pat Burke. So the Phoenix Suns going to win their 5th in a row and improve to 24-8. Again, after that 1-5 start, what a turnaround. Suns with the second-best record in the NBA behind the Dallas Mavericks. Jones misses, and the Heat, they're going to lose their 5th straight, and they have 5 more games on this West Coast trip. What a difficult spot they are in right now.
From here, they go to Portland, to Seattle, and then Golden State, Utah, and the Los Angeles Lakers. They've got their... but then again, Wade might be back by Sunday. That would definitely help the situation.
And Shaquille O'Neal could be back by sometime later this month as Jalen Rose, who hasn't been playing much. Tough to get into this rotation, as you said, but he knocks that one down.
Well, everyone says, I want to play in Phoenix. Well, the trouble is once you get here, you're not in a 10-man rotation. You're in an 8-man rotation. And the only way that time is going to go for you in close games is if someone gets injured or someone gets in foul trouble. So you can want to come here, but you've got to be able to go hard for 48 minutes and play this style of play and then shoot a high percentage.
Burke, they want him to shoot. He does. The crowd into it to the very end for one of their favorite players, Pat Burke. And the Suns bench enjoying it. Michael Doliak comes up short. Shot clock and game clock nearly identical. And a good solid win for the Phoenix Suns, their 5th in a row. And they're now 23-3 in their last 26 games. Meanwhile, Miami loses their 5th straight. Burke for 3. It's good! Pat Burke puts an exclamation point. And sends the fans home with a big smile. Nice wave to finish.
I was just going to say that. It's great. Good exhibition here this evening. Yeah, they had a couple of bad lulls. They allowed Miami to get back in it, but then they turned it on. And they turned it on at the defensive end of the floor by making a lot of things happen, getting out in the open, and then making a high percentage threes.
Terrific performance for the Suns, and Steve Nash is with our Lisa Salters.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Steve, 22 points from you tonight. Another dominant performance by the Phoenix Suns. When did you guys know that the Miami Heat were struggling?
Well, I mean, it's unfair for them. I think they got, 4 guys that played heavy. Obviously, 2 superstars and 2 other guys who play a lot of minutes in their championship run not playing tonight. And, we realize that it's tough on the guys to come in after not playing much and compete with a team that's, got mostly everybody and playing well.
They had 19 turnovers. What were you guys doing to force them into so many mistakes?
Well, maybe some of it is that they haven't played that much, some of the guys. I think some of it also is we did a good job of sticking with our assignments and being there for each other and being aggressive.
Once again, you guys have 5 guys with at least 15 points. What's the key to such balanced scoring for you guys?
Well, I think it's just our ball movement. We try to move the ball and make everybody a weapon. It makes us more difficult to guard. I think that balance is when we're at our best.
Now, when you guys are clicking on all cylinders, can anybody really keep up with the Suns?
Well, offensively, when we're playing at our best, we feel like we're the best offensive team in the league. But, we want to win a championship. So we want to have balance. We want to improve offensively, but we want to really learn to be a good defensive team. So when the playoffs come, we'll be ready to beat anybody.
Thanks a lot. Congratulations. Mike?
All right, Lisa, 6 players in double figures for the Phoenix Suns, led by the 2-time reigning MVP Steve Nash with his 22 points. As the Phoenix Suns not only give their fans an impressive win, but they get one of their favorite players, Pat Burke, to put an exclamation point on it. And we'll be back with the final word here from Phoenix after this timeout.